Talk Show, Houston's hot mess of a podcast. A funny but thoughtful look at the LGBTQIA plus community.
Wendy Taylor and I are back on the air. How you doing, Wendy?
Hey, what's up, what's up?
It's another episode of That Little Gay Talk Show.
Yes.
And I'm also your host, Joel Tatum. And we are here with Preston Steamed, or Preston... Wait. Introduce yourself, Preston.
Hi, hello. My name is Preston Steamed. I am the Vampire King of Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm. And for the first part of this show, Preston's going to sit in with us and we're going to chat topics, subjects, stuff going on in the news. And then we're going to get into a Preston interview later on in the show.
Yeah.
You ready, Preston?
I'm born ready.
Okay.
There's so much to talk about right now.
Mm-hmm. But we're gonna take just a few seconds. We are going to moment of reflection, because I've decided that I don't want to have any kind of thoughts and prayers on this show ever again after some of the things I've been reading over the past few days. So we're going to have a moment of reflection for O'Shea Sibley. Thank you, and we're back. And it's sad that we have to start our show. We kind of like to keep an upbeat show, but it's sad that now we have to start our show.
We definitely have to address what happened.
Now, we only do 2 episodes a month, so when we come in after the fact. And I'm glad that we do, because now that we've had more time to look over the stories
And reflect.
and reflect, basically put group of dancers in Brooklyn were at a gas station minding their own business. We have now become a society where nobody minds their own damn business. Minding their own business, just having some fun, just doing a little voguing, just doing their thing. When a group of teenagers decided that, you know what, no, you shouldn't be doing that in public. No, you need to stop. There was a little bit of a confrontation, and well, we lost someone. We lost O'Shea Sibley.
Yep, O'Shea Sibley was
over some
shot.
foolishness. Over
Shot
17
while voguing.
Well, stabbed while voguing.
Right, yeah.
Stabbed while
That's
voguing.
true, yeah. Stabbed
Basically
while
we now know that it was 17-year-old Dimitri Popov. Good Christian boy. He went from being a Muslim, by the way, to being a good Christian boy.
Just for the cameras, though. Not that it matters.
No, not that it matters.
But the way that they're, I think you're absolutely. We were talking about this. I think you should get into what you think they're going to do as far as the defense for this case.
Oh, this is easily a Kyle Rittenhouse scenario all over
sure.
again. It really is. First of all, we went from being Muslim to Christian. So, and by the way, this is a 17-year-old white boy. So, guess who we're going to have to market to? So basically,
the conservative right,
the conservative Christian right, exactly. So
Double down.
We've already started that. I watched the defense. Now the defense lawyer, whose name I forget and don't really care about. I mean, honestly, don't get me wrong. In this justice system, you need a defense attorney. Everybody needs a defense attorney.
Everybody.
You have the right to a defense attorney, no matter what you did. So
Exactly.
I'm not poo-pooing that. We're not going to do that here. Everything that is supposed to happen is happening. The problem I'm having is the fact of how it's going to be narrated to the public. And we're already talking about self-defense charges.
Yep.
So we're going to, and I'm like, the moment that this defense attorney was talking about self-defense, the first thing I thought was Kyle Rittenhouse. That was the first thing I thought about, because we went from Muslim to Christian. We have a black attorney. By the way, we have a black attorney because it turns out that his sister-in-law is black. So imagine being the black person in a white family and someone has done something horribly wrong against another black person, and
you have to defend them now.
And now you have to be the black friend.
Yep, you're being paraded as the token black guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So don't get me wrong. I think what the defense attorney is doing is pretty brilliant. I mean, first of all, you have to wipe away the black. You definitely have to wipe this away as not a racial thing.
Yep.
Right.
So the first thing you do is you say, hey, sister-in-law is black. The family loves black people. He has black friends. So
he can't be racist.
So
Clearly can't be racist.
Clearly. And if this was coming from a white defense attorney, we would all go, no.
Right.
Yep.
No, but clearly, I'm not going to say that this family is brilliant, but clearly they know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And having a black face in front to say, hey, this is not racism. Smartest thing ever.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Because all the white people are just going to eat that up.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep. Because they're going to sell to a jury of our peers.
Yep.
Now, if it's what really gets me, and I really can't go into too much detail simply because I don't want to get reamed for the fact that I don't have other black people sitting at this table, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But what worries me is that even if it's a jury of black people, it's not going to be. It's going to be the most conservative black people. It's going to be the just hilariouses of the world. It's going to be the Kevin. I don't want to say Kevin Smith. I'm sorry. I almost knew we're not trying to get Kevin Smith. The Kevin guy who died not too long ago, who hated women, and all this other stuff. So I'm really worried that even if we got a jury that looked like me, it's going to be a jury that doesn't think like me, but thinks more towards the stuff, tenets of white supremacy and all that other stuff. So that's what. So I'm worried that it's going to be just one of those cases where it's not going to be a winner. There's no going to be clear winners. There's no going to be clear justice.
I agree. I think that they're going to muddy the waters enough to get away with an acquittal.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me the most, is the fact that, and I have a feeling that this lawyer is very internet savvy, and he has a very good team behind him.
I'm curious. We need to have a lawyer on.
We do.
I'm curious if the fact that they instigated it, if that has anything to do with the effect of the crime that they chose to prosecute. Because if they had just kept walking by, Shea Sibley'd still be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
If they just minded their own business and kept walking by and talk shit amongst themselves,
Hell, you could have saved yourself jail time. If you wanted to post a video on TikTok saying these fags are out here doing this stuff and blah 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 blah. For the most part, you might lose your job and some other stuff, but you wouldn't be in prison.
Right.
Now you might. Well, you might.
Well, see, here's the thing, though, because used to be they could roll up on us and get away with that shit.
Oh,
now,
God, yeah.
You can't do that anymore because we got teeth. So,
I feel like that's something that definitely scares people, too, is the fact that they used to be able to just go gay bashing right and left, but now, we are so fed up with it, we do fight back, and they don't expect us to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And let me tell you something right now. Should we wonder why these things seem to be happening in places where you would not expect them? I mean, Brooklyn, New York, I would not expect.
Right. I feel like you would expect something like that to happen here in Texas.
Yeah, like here in Texas or Alabama or something like that, but
it happens everywhere. We just didn't hear about it because
exactly.
It had to make news in Brooklyn before it made news everywhere else.
Yeah.
And because it made news there, but it happens everywhere. It's in every little town, big city, suburbs, everywhere. It's
100%.
everywhere.
And I'm sorry, I did not want this generation to have another man. Now, I had Paul Broussard from Houston when we were younger. There was Paul Broussard. And I'm trying to remember, I think he came before Matthew Shepard. I think his murder happened before Matthew Shepard's.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it happened right before Matthew Shepard's. But Paul Broussard, he He was Houston's Matthew Shepard. He was minding his own business at the bars. A group of teens, it always seems to be teens. Group of teens came down from the Woodlands, started trouble in the neighborhood. Oh my God, that sounded like the Fresh Prince. They got one little fight. Yeah. Got scared. Yeah, and got killed. Yeah. And and then I never wanted this generation. Basically, what I'm saying, I never wanted this generation to go through that.
Yeah,
never wanted that And Beyonce said his name at the concert, and she has been on a kick. She has been in her new album. Is all about.
She's been very vocal in support of the community,
and especially the communities that really need it the most. The Black trans community really needs it the most.
Absolutely,
they have a Matthew Shepard every week,
every day.
We fail to stop to think about that. If this only happens to gay men every now and then, imagine how it happens to trans women, especially trans women of color.
It's literally almost every day at this point.
100%.
It's almost every single day. I don't. You can't even have enough vigils. Sometimes when you have a vigil for the week, you're calling out 11, 13 names.
Yeah, exactly.
It's absolutely bananas, and that's just Black trans women.
I saw it was a post that's going around on Facebook the other day, and it was kind of just like a meme, but it was just saying the trans agenda is an average life expectancy. And that really hit, because I feel like we forget that so many times, especially like you said, like with Black trans women, like they're the most at-risk demographic, and it just happens so often.
You don't have a lot of trans elders for people to look up to, because a lot of our trans siblings are murdered or commit suicide.
If I remember correctly, the life expectancy for a trans woman, I think, is 35.
Oh my God.
Which is horrible.
It's low. I think the average age was like in the 20s.
And let me throw this out here. I don't want us to forget. We live in Texas, so our Latina queens also, they get hit as hard. Absolutely. But theirs is kept so underground, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that our Latina queens get hit just as hard, if not worse, because at least Black queens have a little bit of spotlight, but I don't feel like our Latina queens get the spotlight as well.
I feel like, and this is just, a person owning a vagina speaking, but it's all misogyny based. It's all 100%. Based in misogyny. Anti-queer rhetoric is based in misogyny.
100%.
Men feeling demasculinized. Is that the right word? Demasculated? Emasculated. It's like they don't know what to do with themselves. And it's one of those things that, like, I've said this so many times before to so many people, but, like, when you say things like you throw like a girl or you hit like a girl, girls just always have to have a response ready in the canon for things like that.
Right.
And so someone said something like, you probably hit like a girl. And I said, well, then you'll be picking yourself up off the floor.
I saw a girl throw a football halfway across a football field.
Oh, yeah.
Up into the stands.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if she throws like a girl, what am I throwing?
I'm like, have you ever
started on sports? Don't even get me started on sports, because I was the first girl in the region to play for football for the school. And the hell that I went through because they couldn't legally keep me from playing. But I'll tell you who was the absolute worst was the parents.
That does not surprise me. No, that does not surprise me at all.
I wasn't allowed to go to people's birthday parties because I was either a lesbian or a slut, and I'm like, what's wrong with either of those things?
Right.
But I stood shoulder to shoulder with those guys. They tried everything they could to get me off that team, but before I finished, I was starting wide receiver and cornerback.
What?
Hey.
So and they call me Coach Flink. I love that guy. Coach Flink. Shout out Coach Flink. Used to call me Stonehands Taylor.
Come on, Stonehands Taylor.
Stonehands Taylor, because I never dropped a ball. But like, I only got one shot.
How long did you play? Did you play football?
Just the 1 year.
Just the 1 year?
I got hurt so bad so many times. Like, it was just so frustrating. Like, I think the last straw for me was when one of the people who I thought was a friend, who I grew up playing with, pushed me out of the way off the sidelines and says, you don't need to be here.
Oh, wow.
My own teammates were beating me up. Mm-hmm. There were whispers in the hallways at all times, but they couldn't keep me from playing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the thing was, it was completely fine when it was on a Saturday and I was playing mud football with my friends in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But the moment I wanted to play for the school, that's when everybody had an issue. Mm-hmm. But I used it to my advantage. There was one time so our big rivalry was Barbers Hill. And I was playing cornerback, and I was up, we're on the line, and the guy's calling the plays, and I was like, hey, do you know there's a girl on this team? He was like, really? Where? Play's running, dude's having a conversation with me, and he realizes what's happening, and I was like, right here, and he goes, what? And then just plowed him. It was really fun.
Okay. My camera seems to be having a moment.
Oh, it's because you have low battery.
Oh, no, she's dying.
Oh,
we're not going to have video this time.
No, we will, because I have cords.
We have technology.
I have.
Okay, well, cut.
Okay. You want to take a...
I don't know how much of that we didn't get.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to take just 30 seconds, and we will be...
Oh, it's still going.
It's still going. Okay, it's still recording. It's just letting us know that
it's just letting us know that we
need to plug it in.
We need to find a plug.
So it doesn't die in the
middle.
middle.
Look in that bag and see if you see a white cord. If you do not...
I do not see a white cord, but I do see a box.
Do you see any colored cords? No. Or any cords that look like they would...
There are no cords at all.
Okay, one more place. Let's check the suitcase. In the white bag, in that big bag, there might be some cords. Yes, I know.
Where's the cord?
Well, this is the nature. This is the nature of a podcast, because all kinds of stuff. And then when you're trying to film at the same time, and then it's like, something is going wrong. And you don't want to pause, because I'm like, I can't just pause in the middle of a subject. We were just talking about something. So.
Oh my gosh, no! I was doing a podcast at Austin International Drag Festival with my friend, but she was doing it all on her phone, and we were like a good hour into it, and then we realized it wasn't recording, and then we're like, how long ago did it stop? And I was like, baby, we've said so much since then, so we had to scrap the whole episode.
Many a time that I've had a podcast where I have forgotten to push the record button. I thought I would tap it, and then one more place. Look in the pocket on the outside. That big zippered pocket on the outside. There might be one there. I could have sworn I threw one in there before we left the house, because I'm like, I might need it. Okay, I might need it.
We're not going to have a video this time. That's okay.
Okay, what do we? Okay, how much power do we? I mean,
we have 10%.
10%.
So we'll get what we can use, and we'll put clips up.
Because I'm like, I can run down. I can run to the office and go grab one real quick, because they have one in the office. Oh my God, I'm gonna go to the office.
Okay,
this is gonna be a moment, y'all. This is a moment on the podcast. Oh my God, I love having moments on the podcast. I really do. So Whitney is just gonna do her thing. I'm gonna run downstairs. I'll be right back.
Okay. We're taking a break. Yes.
I mean, it's still recording.
It's still. Oh my God.
It's recording on both.
Oh my God. Okay.
So this is the part we just talk shit,
no,
right?
He's gone. Can we talk about how cute his shirt is? I love Paisley's.
Oh, it's so cute.
I can't even talk shit for play. It has to come out super naturally, and then usually I feel terrible.
Right. You're like, you say, and you're like, I'm so sorry.
I meant it funny, because I would never actually say something like that and mean it to somebody, but I'll lose sleep over shit.
It's like 2 a.m. You're like, I think he took that joke the wrong way. I should call him.
I should call him. Maybe not a phone call. I'll text him.
Right. You're just drafting him a text. 4 a.m. He's like, hey, I'm so sorry.
I hope this doesn't wake you. But I just wanted to make sure that what I said about how big your ass was is okay. Okay, so I'm straight up writing a parody album.
Okay.
And this latest song that I'm writing, I have offended myself. Okay. It's to this None of this can get used because I'm doing it under a stage name. But it's to the tune of Kiss Me from Sixpence None the Richer, and it's Fist Me. And like I use Joel Osteen's name as a safe word. This song might be my magnum opus.
Joel Osteen.
So yeah, the way I'm going to do it is like I've had so many drag artists ask me to record these songs so that they can perform them.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, what a perfect market. So
we love doing parodies.
I hate performing. Like
there you go.
So, but I do love the recording process, which is why I have my studio. So mostly I just like helping other people's projects get made.
Right.
That's what I actually like to do. I don't want to work on my own stuff. I want to work on someone else's stuff.
Right, like,
but
I'll help you. I don't want to help myself.
I'm not going to do this. For me, no, it's not going to happen. But, so it's under the name Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday?
And the first album is called Deep Thoughts.
THOT.
Yeah.
Like from Jack Candy? From the old days? Like
yes.
from the way old days?
Yes.
Because I remember who's in the room, and I'm like, this girl doesn't know who I'm talking about.
So you have to move it back, take where the cable is, and tilt it towards the back of the room just a smidge. No, like the whole phone.
Oh, the whole phone?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Like twist
like other way.
That corner.
Here?
Yeah. There. Okay.
All right.
Because no more. Yeah,
So, yeah,
like I'm not in the shot.
Nobody wants you in the shot anyway. No, I'm kidding.
Cool, I can go home.
She said, my job is done. We're clocking out.
I don't know if it's starting or not.
I don't either.
Well, I guess we'll find out if it dies.
Okay,
because the show must always go on.
While you were gone, we talked major shit about everything about you.
Okay, I'm okay with that. You could hear. You should read some of the things my roommates have said about me. So,
What's the number? He's tempted for my inventory.
Because right now I live in a pad splits kind of situation with like 10 roommates, and we all share a space. And I'm the messy one. I'm the inconsiderate one. I'm the one who is the smelly one, even though I'm coming in from 103-degree heat, walking down the street, coming in all sweaty, but I'm the smelly one. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now.
Well,
so if you want to talk shit about me, please.
Let's talk shit. Let's talk shit though, but let's talk shit about let's talk shit about the guys talking shit about the Barbie movie.
Oh my god.
Let's talk about the Barbie movie, you guys.
The Barbie movie, which I saw, by the way, which was so good.
Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good.
And you know what? I love certain critics who are always, yeah, I saw the movie, but I really didn't relate to it. So I'm just going to say that it was a terrible movie because I don't relate to it. And how many times have I sat in the movie theater looking at people who do not look like me, who do not share the same stories that I have, and have fallen in love with the story, have fallen in love with the characters, even if I don't understand some of the cultural situations that are going on, I'm still having a good time. So I'm really getting over the excuse of I don't relate anymore, because that's not an excuse if you're a critic.
It's really not. And I feel like I feel like a lot of times, especially with a lot of the men going to see this movie, they're going in with a certain opinion and refusing to let that opinion change. Like, I want to talk about Ben Shapiro.
Can we please talk about Ben Shapiro?
Please.
His reaction to the Barbie movie is the funniest thing to me because no one made him go see that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
He paid his own money and then he went to the movie of his own volition, gave them his own money, made a review, constantly talking about it, basically just giving them free advertising.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, spent his own money on like 5 brand new Barbies, even one with like the big ass car, just so he could burn it. I'm like, all you have done is given them revenue.
Oh,
like if you really didn't want this movie to do well, stop giving them money, dude.
Like, they owe him a check.
Literally,
they owe him a check.
Because honestly, with all the work he's put in with all the social media stuff he's put in, all the crew he's had to hire to do all this stuff. Girl, you spend more money on this movie than the people at the movie.
Literally. And it's just making more people go see it because we all like to make fun of it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it totally is too, because like they're, especially on like a lot of Reddits for, like I follow a lot of I know you're all shocked. Feminist Reddit. I know you're shocked. But it's so funny. Like there was somebody who actually ended up taking all of these negative comments on the internet from men and turning them into movie posters.
Oh my God, I saw some of those and I love them.
I saw that and I'm like, yes! Can I buy one of those?
No, literally, I feel like at every comment I've seen replying to those, they're like, wow, now I just want to go see it more.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now I have to. I wasn't even interested in the Barbie movie before, but now I have to go see it. The thing that like everybody's really touching on though is I think was it America's monologue.
America First monologue. Yes.
Yeah,
oh my
America's
gosh.
monologue in that movie is like every single
everything.
woman.
But you know what? I'm going to take a moment and just go, you know what? For like a brief moment in my childhood, I had that feeling. Because when I would play with Barbies I had one little friend in the entire neighborhood, because we were the only black people in the entire neighborhood, and I had one little friend that I was allowed to play with. And all she had was Barbie dolls, and we played Barbie all day. I dressed her. And there was a Ken, because my dad said, if you're going to play this, you have to play the boy. And I'm like, okay. Well, Ken was there. He was there, but he was just in the pool.
He was just Ken.
He was just Ken. He was in the pool. We were dressing. Barbie was going shopping. Barbie was flying to the moon. Barbie was driving her little sports car. This girl had everything. This girl loved Barbie.
Well, I think a lot of what has upset a lot of people, humans.
Fucking man. Just say fucking man.
It's because it's not centered around them. They're not the center of the story.
No.
They're hardly a cliff note. Like
the thing that's so funny to me though is like they even do kind of address the effect of toxic masculinity on men, like with kind of Ken's sub storyline, and like the whole point of Ken's little subplot is that he's able to find worth in himself outside of Barbie, and like the whole thing they're saying is like toxic masculinity isn't just bad for women, it's bad for men, and like the whole like you as a man should find worth in yourself, and they all missed it.
Yep.
They all missed it.
They all missed it. And you know the funny thing is that I have grown up listening to heterosexual men. They are everything they do in life involves a woman. Even the most important part of being a man is losing your virginity. But you can only lose your virginity truly unless a vagina is involved. You can only truly lose your virginity. You cannot lose your virginity unless a vagina is involved. And I was like, so wait a minute. So women are the ones who have the power to make you
right
a man?
And yet they're the ones that get such
why?
It doesn't make
why would a woman want to do that?
But the thing is that they view us as a conquest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're still an object. Like it's the femme presenting people are still objectified first.
But for heterosexual men growing up, everything is centered about a woman. Everything in their life is about a woman. You need to get a great job because you won't get a woman. You need to have big muscles because you won't get a woman. Everything is about getting a woman. Nothing is about them just being them.
Right.
Everything is about being a woman. And here is a chance in a movie where you're being told, hey, you don't really have to center on me. Why don't you take care of you? Figure out who you are and worry about you. And for the first time, I was like, finally, someone is giving men a positive message. Women are not the center of your universe. You need to be the center of your universe. And went right over every man's head.
Completely over their head.
What I loved is that they didn't feel that they had to state that for women.
and even as you know, what really gets me is that I tried to have this conversation with men, and the first thing they say is, "Well, you're gay." What does that have to do? I'm still a man. Mm-hmm. What is I grew up with you guys. I know your entire world. I was taught to be in that world. So don't sit up here and tell me that I don't know it because I'm gay.
Right.
I've seen you guys be miserable your entire life because your only worth is what a woman thought of you. That is your only worth.
I saw a clip on Trixie and Katya's podcast that they were doing where they're talking about like the ownness of being a man. Where like we as gay men, like once we get through high school and we kind of just do our own thing, we have to deal with all that bullshit because we built our own identity. But it's like they still have to like fit under all these pressures, all these societal norms. They have to find a woman. They have to do this, that, and the other. But even with gay men, like there's definitely so much like bleed over of toxic masculinity into like the gay community.
Oh,
like,
no femmes.
No, and like I was kind of thinking like we were talking about like they like viewing women as a conquest and like if they're so big a deal to like lose their virginity, they have all the power. It's like when the gay tops want to bottom shame, and it's like bottoms have all of the power. Why would you ever shame a bottom? You can't have sex without us.
I'm sorry, but you need bottoms.
Literally,
you literally need bottoms. Bottoms don't need you. Bottoms
do not. Need
bottoms are bottoms know that hey, they can go to the sisters and go, hey, what toy of the week are you using? Because I'm so tired of being this ridiculous. So just like straight men, tops, y'all need us too. Y'all need us too. Well,
it takes a real man to take a dick.
It does.
It does.
It really does.
That's why I'm just like, if you want to really be a man, let your girlfriend peg you. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on. Every time I see like a straight couple where like the guy just has like a really juicy butt, I'm just like, God, I hope she pegs him. It's such a waste otherwise.
Well, like they will not though. That like they're so scared.
They are.
You know,
like you don't have to be attracted to men to enjoy your prostate being massaged.
I think honestly, what it really boils down to is once a woman gets in there and pulls out, she's also pulling out your emotions too. So you might be a little. I understand where the fear is coming from. She might actually make you emotionally healthy after she pulls out.
Ooh.
So, but we're gonna. It's time to get into Preston's little. We're gonna.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Here we go. Oh my God.
We're gonna take a little break, and Wendy is going to have an in-depth, personal conversation with Preston Steamed. Don't worry. It's not like it's me and Preston having a conversation. That would be scary. Mostly
scary.
for Preston.
We like scary. Scary is good because we have Houston's spooky drag king.
Yeah, exactly.
Spooky.
So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to introduce the next segment, which is going to be Wendy's Corner with Preston Steamed.
Houston's hot mess of a podcast.
And we are back, and we are sitting here with Preston Steamed, and Wendy is about to sit down in Wendy's Corner and have a very intimate conversation, and I'm just going to shut up. So go ahead, Wendy.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Absolutely nobody.
All right, yeah. So again, our guest today is Preston Steamed, who I know a lot of y'all already know this, but he is my favorite drag king. Maybe anywhere, but definitely in Houston. I have had the pleasure of working with Preston, and all I'm going to say is his entire booking fee is worth it just for his Cruella de Vil song. Like, just for the one act. He should be getting paid daily. So, he's the spooky drag king. Yeah. A little bit spooky, a little bit stupid, right?
And a little bit filthy.
That's what it is. All right, so Preston, tell us about your journey through drag.
Oh my gosh. Well, I started drag back in 2018. I actually originally started as a queen by the name of Victoria Ann for Victorian, because she was, the little steampunk queen of Houston for the moment. I started as a king. I want to say about 6 months after, because I performed about like 3 times as a queen, because I started off actually here at U of H at, yeah, because I was in Global, like the LGBT student organization, and they have like an annual drag show that they did, and I had done drag for like Halloween. I went as Katya, and Angelina DM Trails did my makeup, and I just went out for the night as Katya.
That's sickening.
And so my friend was like, hey, do you want to do this drag show? And I was like, yeah, totally, let's do it. And so I came out as a queen, and then I performed about 3 times, and then I was actually taking photos at the H-Town King show, and I got talking with Ian, the show director there, after the show, and I was talking about how like I hadn't performed in a while and I really wanted to like perform again, and he was like, well, I'll tell you what, come out next week and we'll put you on stage as a king. And I was like, okay, bet, sure. And then I went out, I did a Panic at the Disco song. I said, I did Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time as my debut. And then I got off stage and Ian was like, they loved you. Get in my DMs. I'm booking you. Yeah. And so that's really kind of where Preston took off, is I started getting booked at the King show and just kind of started building my brand, getting my name out there a little bit more. And then, I don't know, Victoria, I kind of joke that she died, but she's also sort of gotten absorbed into Preston a little bit, because I consider Preston's drag kind of a little bit gender fluid, because I kind of like will bounce back and forth between doing like something super femme to like super masculine. Like I always joke, or like at some of my shows, like I'll do like the first number as a boy, and then I'll like go backstage, throw on like tits in a dress or something. And then my DJ one time was like, I love how you just go from like looking from like a boy to a girl. And I'm like, baby, I'm just trying to make everyone question their sexuality.
That's what I like to tell people about being like pansexual, because like, you know, so if you're straight, the opposite sex is prey, right? Mm-hmm. If you're gay, the same sex is prey. But if you're pan, like everyone is prey. I'm just a velociraptor. I'm a clever girl. So okay. So you brought up Ian, and I love Ian. Okay, Ian's a drag dad for a long.
He is for many a generation of kings.
He does so much to help get baby kings started, and also to help support the ones that he's had started for many, many years. So,
oh, absolutely.
What has your experience working with Ian been like?
I honestly can say, like, Preston would not be where he is without Ian, because Ian really was the one who first, like, really gave me an opportunity. And I know that's, like, the story for many of the kings in this town, because Ian really was the one who, like, provided a space for kings to get their start. Because really, before the H-Town King show at Pearl Bar, the only kings that were really around was Ian, Roman Sider Ross, and Richard Long. Yep. And they were, like, on the original founding cast of the show, because they, like... Before that, like, it was really just Ian and Roman were the few who would ever really get booked. And, like, because Roman did all the pageants and stuff, and, like, Richard was, like, the Glitter King of Houston. Yes. So, of course, he got booked a lot. Yeah. But it really, truly, there weren't that many other kings until they had the H-Town King show, and they started doing the audition nights and everything. And that was how, like... God, I feel like we're like 7 generations in now or something like that.
It's crazy. So one of the things that I actually really wanted to talk to you about was exactly what you just brought up, was that there was only one show available for kings for the longest time, and that was at Pearl Bar, which is Houston's only lesbian bar, and it's one of the like less than 30 that are left in the entire country. So the fact that Pearl Bar was basically supporting our kings for the longest time until like even just recently. There were several times that and I won't name names, but there were a couple of show directors who have had bad experiences with club owners. One of them was threatened to be fired if they didn't fire the drag king that they hired for the night, because he didn't want drag kings on their stage.
Yeah, that is fortunately I would say within like the owners and directors around town, there's definitely been like a move in recent years for a lot more inclusion. But I've definitely, I know, I'm not gonna name names either, but there are definitely certain bars that in the past like had a set in stone rule that kings were not allowed to be booked at the bar. Like we could do the amateur night, but we couldn't get a paid booking there. Yep. We could work for free, but never for money, kind of thing.
Yep. Well, and you know, when it is such a small community and it is based in one bar, there are a lot of people who don't feel like they fit or didn't have a space.
Absolutely.
But now the work that those three kings specifically that you mentioned.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, okay, so Ian, Richard, and Roman. Thank you, Roman. They really did set the stage for every baby drag king that came after. And now y'all are booked all over. You've got a show at Barcode.
I have a couple shows at Barcode.
Yeah.
So it's funny to me. Barcode has been like one of the biggest constants in my career outside of Pearl, because I was definitely I feel like from my generation of kings, I'm like one of only a couple that are still like really around working, and there's like several generations after me now. But I did a competition at Barcode, 4 years ago now. It was called Slay. It was Roxanne Collins hosted, and then the judges were Coffee and Lana Blake, my great grandmother.
I love Lana Blake so
I
hard.
adore her.
Oh my god!
But no, like when you won the challenge, like the prize was like a booking at Barcode, so I won almost every challenge. So I started working at Barcode a lot on like their Wednesday show with Tanya and Lana, and so outside of Pearl, Tanya was one of the first ones who really started like booking me consistently. Because
Tanya's great. Tanya Hyde.
I adore her. Tanya Hyde. I freaking adore her. She last year reached out to me and was like bringing back the Hump Day Honey show that they've had there forever. They took it away for a little bit, and then like the owner wanted to bring it back. So she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm bringing this show back. I'd love to have you on cast. Is there anyone else you'd want on the cast with you?" Because basically, like the way it is, it's like a different duo like every week. Yeah. So for a while, I had my friend Hennessy, who's another king, who's like the generation right after me. We worked together. And then I've just been making waves at Barcode. So now I produce a like rotating alternative night every few months or so. And now I am the newest show director at Barcode. I produce Queer Cabaret every other Sunday, and it's a little all drag showcase. So my goal is to really try and like book like all different types of drag that I can, but I am the only king show director in all of Montrose currently.
I'm going to throw in a little applause here.
He said, "Fuck your drag."
That's excellent.
That was so disrespectful. I'm so sorry. I've got to get these buttons down.
And that's what you get.
Well, don't worry. You still have plenty of time. Go ahead.
Okay, so you said your great grandmother,
Lana Blake, great grandmother.
Your great grandmother.
Yeah, because Ian's granddad and Ian is a Blake.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, after Slay, she did officially. I am not a Blake at all, but she did officially claim me as her great grandchild after I won Slay.
I love Lana. Lana Blake is like a Houston staple.
She is,
and is also one of the most phenomenal hairdressers I have ever met in my life. So I actually met Lana from when I did Pride Superstar 400 years ago. And she walks up to me after the very first audition, and she has this mohawk to here, perfect, and comes up to me and was like, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but I can help you." And hands me her card, and I was like, "I don't know who this person is, but she seems nice, so okay." So anyway, I give her a call, and she basically does my hair and makeup for the entire run of Pride Superstar.
I love that.
Free.
I love it. She's
So I will drive an hour and 15 minutes to go get my hair done by her. Like, and she needs to fix me, Lana, please. Oh my God. I had this thing growing.
My God, anyway. Please do. Please do.
Like, it's almost like it's not cute. I need like a uncut. Anyway, so tell us about your family tree.
Oh my God. Okay. So we have this running joke in the king community that the cider family tree is a branch. Because all of the kings are related to each other somehow. Like even my own drag kids, I'm co-parenting with other drag performers. Like I am a cider via Carmina. Mm-hmm. So I'm a Vavra and a cider, and then within the ciders, there's like Hugh Dandy. All the dandies are officially like ciders because Ian adopted him as like an honorary member once he like moved here. So all the dandies are my family. The Lorrays and Damien's kids are like loosely ciders.
I love Damien.
Oh, Damien's so good. I actually have him an upcoming my show next Wednesday.
Really?
Yes.
They put on like he puts on so like good. Seriously he's awesome
so
like good. Visually, like you just want to eat it.
No, like he's literally so
colorful good and all like he really thinks about every detail.
Oh, completely. And he always serves like the best looks. He's also the father of one of my children because my son Cole Thulu was his kid first.
Wait, okay, hold on. Your son is Cole Thulu?
My son is Cole Thulu.
Okay, so first, let me just say that name is the best,
isn't it?
Drag King name I have ever heard in my his whole life. Like. It's so good.
Right? It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. I actually had the pleasure of shooting him once, and it was, I
love Cole. He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's neat.
Yeah.
Bean. I like him. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about this. This is one of the real reasons why you're my favorite. Your activism.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like I always could and should be doing more. I always try and use like the platform I have to just like speak to one issues. I feel like I've recently gotten more into like trying to do activism with all of like the legislation and everything that's been going on. So I've just kind of like, as I've had shows, I've tried to just talk about it on the mic, bring up like calling your representative. I did at one of my last Cabinet of Curiosities, I did Call Me Maybe, but while I was doing it, I handed out cards that had the numbers of all of the Harris County representatives and had a QR code on the back that had a link to Find My Representative, where you just type in your address and it tells you who your representatives are, and had a link to the Equality Texas Bad Bill Tracker page, so I had like a full briefing of like all of the bills that we're up against. And so like, yeah.
And you don't think you're doing enough?
I feel like
that's genius.
I don't know.
That's genius. I really appreciate you using your platform, and I want to get a little more into your online persona and all of that. But like, you use that too. You have a huge social media platform.
Yeah, like my TikTok. I really because I have surprising. Like honestly, I learned how to play the algorithm, so that's how I built up the TikTok following. But I have like a pretty decent TikTok following, and I just try and like, because I have a big platform and big following, I just try and use it to spread positivity, because that's always kind of been something that's important to me as a person, is to be able to just like spread light, because I've been through a lot of dark shit in my life, and I felt very, very alone for a really long time. So it's really important to me to be able to try and like spread that message to other people, that you're not alone, that you're all in this together, and that like the voices in your head are fucking lying to you, and you're beautiful, and just drink some fucking water, you're depressed.
Yes. I always love spreading positive message, but I love that you do it with such flair. Like your styling is so entertaining. It's so entertaining. Like sometimes it's a little ditzy, sometimes it's very straightforward, and you're very measured and very well spoken, and then other times it's just a quip. But you get your point across really, really quickly, and you have this phenomenal platform that you use. Like specifically recently, you've been speaking out a lot against the anti-trans legislation as well as the anti-drag legislation. Yeah. And those two get lumped together a lot.
Yes.
Because they were at the same time.
Yeah. And
they're two different bills. Honestly, and only one of them got that much attention, and it was the drag bill.
Well, and the scary thing about that is, because of the wording of a lot of these bills with the, like, clothing and stuff, these specifically drag bills can very easily be used against the trans community. Like, I really feel like at the end of the day, for like conservatives, trans people are the ultimate enemy. Like even though they're trying to say it's about drag or this, that, and the other, it's all just veiled transphobia. Like that's really what it is.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It's, and again, it's all based in misogyny. Like why do we look down on women so much? We should be uplifting women, right? Like we're 50% of the population.
Yeah.
So, but with the anti-trans legislation, that hits home. As somebody who identifies as non-binary and has trans family members, it's incredibly scary as a parent with children who knows the statistics of kids who are not supported with gender dysphoria, and how common it is for them to kill themselves. The fact that parents who know that aren't able to get their kids the care that they need to avoid that is heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
So parents are having to decide, do I keep my kid untreated and hope they don't kill themselves, or do I move? to a totally different state.
And I know several people who have been moving. Like there's an entertainer in Austin, Channing Tatum, who's an incredible performer who just left because he didn't feel safe having his kid here.
Yeah. Yep. I don't want to talk too much about my personal experience because I'm not going to out my family member, but just as somebody who it's easier for me to do things because I pass. I pass as a woman, so I don't get anything unless I tell someone, hey, no, I'm non-binary, and then it's usually, well, what does that mean? And it's met with questions as opposed to outright disgust or threats and they're usually veiled questions with ignorance and maybe a nasty taste in their mouth, but they are at least just questions so that they can understand. But to not be allowed to treat your child so that they have the best chance to survive as being legislated by the state seems like a real problem to me.
Yeah, and it's something I always say, like, we, with all this, like, conservatives love to throw around the word groomer and that, and it's just like, we as queer people, we don't give a shit about your kids. We're not trying to hurt your kids. We're just trying to make sure that our kids fucking make it to adulthood.
Yes. That's it. That's exactly it. We don't want to turn your kids trans. We just want trans kids to survive.
Literally.
So, on top of all of your acting, online personalities, drag shows, now show director of Barcode.
Just on Sundays. I'm not the show director. I'm just a show director.
So one of the things that I like that you do with your online platform is that you do your horror film review.
Oh, my high horror hot takes.
High horror hot takes. Okay, so you have this cute little bong. Like, is it a bong or a pipe? Like,
yeah, it's a little bubbler.
It's a little bong. And he's like, okay, it's time for high horror hot takes. And then he goes off and has a coughing fit. And then starts to tell us about whatever film that he's watched. So tell us about your horror hot takes.
Oh my God. So it all started with me I got really high and went on a really long rant on TikTok about how terrible the Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre was. But like specifically because of the way that they handled Sally's character, because they brought back the original final girl and then instead of making her the ultimate final girl, just killed her off in such like a one-off. Yeah. And I was like, this is disrespectful. But I had fun doing it. And literally like that same day I was like on a bike ride and I was like, what if I just made a series out of these? And like, I feel like out of all the stuff I post on TikTok, it doesn't even get the most views and I don't even care because I'm having fun doing it because I love horror. Like I love horror so much. I love everything alternative. Like that's obviously like a big part of like my drag, and that was like, that's why I started in the first place, was like the alternative side of things.
Right.
And which I would love to talk a little bit more about that as well.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so because going back to like how I really truly started doing drag, so like I do photography as well, obviously, because I went to U of H for photography. Yeah, which through the Shutter Photography is my Instagram for my photography. It's basically all drag headshots, so you're still seeing drag. But so when I was in the photo program here, my like senior thesis project, I was basically kind of doing like a documentary like series on the Houston drag scene, because so after I came out in college, like when I was around 21, I actually did a coming out piece as my like project to get accepted into the photo program.
Wow.
And I remember I was looking at a photo book by Nan Goldin called The Ballad of Sexual Dependency, which Nan Goldin was an art. I think she's still alive. I believe she's still alive. I'm actually not sure. But she just was very documentary style photos. Like she just took pictures of like her life, and so she was like, you know, a runaway who like moved to New York and felt like, you know, all of her friends were like queer and stuff, and so there's a lot of really heartbreaking photos in there because you see like kind of like the effects of the AIDS crisis and like her friend group and everything. But I remember I was looking at these photos and you could just feel like this really strong sense of like community. And at that point I'd only been out for like a year. I moved here for college. I didn't fucking know anyone. I'm like, I don't have a community. Like, I want that. A friend of mine had taken me to like one drag show. It was the very last So You Think You Can Drag in Meteor.
Oh my
The week that it closed. I got to go to Meteor one time before it closed.
You're so lucky.
And then she took me to when it moved to South Beach. So I was like, okay, because I'd actually taken a couple of photos at the show for like my coming out piece, because I'd done these like poses of me in like kind of feminine poses with like as a diptych next to like drag performers. And so I was like, okay, I know there's like this queer space. There's this show, like, let me go out. Let me just take my camera. And that was really how I got into the drag community. Is I just like fell in love with the performances, and I love taking photos, and I just like was going out so much. People always saw me with my camera. Like sometimes I'd go to like 5 shows a week just taking photos. And so they all started talking to me because they're like, oh, and I would like post them and tag everyone. And so like that was really how I truly started getting like immersed in like drag. And because like my friend had shown me like RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff. So I kind of was like diving into the culture, and I was like, I kind of always wanted to do it, but I was like, oh, I don't want to be pretty. Like, I don't want to shave. I don't want to do all of that. And I thought you had to like be glamour and serve like full woman to like do drag. And then I stumbled onto Dragula.
Yes.
Which it was the season 2 top 4 challenge, where they took them out to Wasteland Weekend in the middle of the fucking desert and had them do a photo shoot as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yes.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh my God.
It's
so good.
That was amazing. I think I watched that with Charlotte, but I saw that. It was so
like
good.
I stumbled upon that photo shoot on like Tumblr, and like I'm an old like steampunk, like that was what I was into back in like the con scene, the cosplay days. Like, so like steampunk, apocapunk, that was the shit I already like did. And I was like, oh, I didn't know this could be drag.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you mean I can just be a fucking monster?
Yes.
So like Dragula is the reason I finally like actually started like doing drag, because I thought you had to be glamour. And even when I was performing like as a queen, like James Majesty was probably my biggest influence, because I love gender fuck. Like even when I was like serving like woman, full body hair, I'd have my like bulge padded with tits out, and I was like, I live for this like absolute gender fuckery. And then that's obviously kind of evolved into what I'm doing with Preston. But it was like that discovery of the fact that you can just be dark little monster is what made me actually start performing.
Yes. And that's something that I like to talk about on this show a lot, is how representation matters.
Oh, 100%.
And like for just like what you said, you didn't know it was possible until you saw it. Like, so, you know, it's just one of those things, like, you don't have to be RuPaul. You can be Dragula. You can be anything in between.
Exactly.
All drag is valid.
Exactly.
Because it's art, and all art is valid. So, you know, it's nice to hear that did that for you. So who are some of the other, we have so many phenomenal drag artists here in Houston, but particularly in the alternative scene.
Oh my God. Okay.
Who do you love?
Okay, so I have to shout out to amazing like older alt legends, to the Titanica DeBarge and Postmodern Sleaze, because they were around doing Fear the Queer back when that was still around, when I first got into the scene. And I actually, PMS still is around doing like DJing and stuff, but Titanica doesn't really perform anymore. But I actually recently had the opportunity to perform with both of them, because Boo Boo, Louisiana Purchase's partner, did like a benefit show for Pride Galveston at Lafitte's, and she asked me to be a part of it. So I got to work with her, Louisiana, and PMS and Titanica, and I was like, this is a literal dream come true.
That's amazing.
Because like they were like, oh my God, Titanica was like the club kid queen back in the day. And that first Fear the Queer I went to at back when it was like still at Etro, and watching them do everything they were doing, I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is terrifying, and I love it. I've got to also shout out Luna of the Lilies, because she is,
oh my gosh, one of the funniest human beings,
hilarious,
that exists,
fucking
in
hilarious,
the whole universe,
and just incredibly talented. Like, her makeup is so good, her costumes, her concepts, like the shit that she makes, like that bitch is so
on point,
fucking funny. And like her and Annalie Naylor, adore. Annalie Naylor is our resident filth queen, and I am one of her biggest fans. I was actually there the night she first did drag, because it was at the Smoke Break America is Trash 4th of July pageant, and she beat me in that pageant.
So when I first met Annalie Naylor, she was dressed up as Patrick Starfish from SpongeBob with these massive knockers. They were made out of beach balls.
Yes, they were.
Oh my God. I met her I was shooting them for Blackberry's drag competition.
Oh, Drag It On, yes.
For Drag It On. And I actually got to do the first shoot for that, which was really nice because I was like just starting out with digital. And I was very happy that she hired me to do it. So thank you, Blackberry. But I met so many queens that day, new queens that day. But Annalie was one of the ones that stuck out like immediately. Just hysterical.
Right.
Truly, like, where does her mind come from? Who thinks of this?
Girl,
she's magic.
Unhinged in the best way. No, I love because like her and Annalie, or her and Luna host Basuda together, which is like every Monday at Ripcord. And like, honestly, my favorite part of the show is just watching those two banter back and forth because they be doing the dumbest shit. They did, back when it was at a different bar, they did a night, it was Shady Pines retirement home.
I was there. I was there. It was amazing.
That was probably my favorite Basuda show ever because they were just in character as like old grandmas the whole night and they were just bickering back and forth the entire... I was like in pain from how much I was laughing that night.
Charlotte took me and I was like, Charlotte, I have to go to work in the morning, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, girl, you'll have a good time. Just come. And I came, and girl, I never had so much fun. And I don't know what was going on stage. All I know is I'm like, these bitches are crazy. I love this.
That's Basuda for you. I love Basuda.
Annalie has been on the show with Charlotte, and both Annalie and Blackberry have been on the show with Charlotte. And let me tell you something. Two funniest people I have ever met.
Blackberry is a national treasure as far as I'm concerned. She and I haven't ever really been very close. We've only been able to work together a couple of times, but I love Blackberry.
She's such a great host.
And just a good and a professional.
Oh, professional.
An actual professional. On time, on point. Every time she puts her face out there, if her name is on it, it's going to be entertaining. Like, it's so good. So there was, there was one more thing that I wanted to talk to you. Oh, yes. What is your favorite drag performance that you have done to date?
Oh my God. Okay, so I have two. One is a recent one. They're my favorites for very different reasons. The first one is just because it's fucking stupid. So I originally did it at a Basuda, actually, because the theme that night was Annalie's Roadkill Family Barbecue. So it was just a night of good old-fashioned redneck drag.
I'm here for it.
So I did like a NASCAR number.
Oh my God.
I found a cover of I Love This Bar called I Love NASCAR.
Oh my gosh.
And started that and then like cut into The Distance by Cake. And then I spent 6 hours making it. I made a little cardboard grinder stock car. And I climbed in and then I was like running around to like The Distance. And then for the second verse of it, I literally found like this dude's channel where he just interviewed people at Talladega. So it was just like redneck saying the most like fucking out of pocket shit. Like, I'm tired of seeing boobs. I want to see your butthole. Show me your butthole. All gas, no brakes, baby. And then I did the final chorus. And then I just ran a lap around the bar and then screamed out all gas, no brakes. And then I just crashed the car. And since it was cardboard, I literally was just like tearing it up and like throwing pieces around the bar.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Right? I took it to Drag Fest with me. Like, that's...
Okay, what's the other one?
Okay, so the other one, this is actually a recent number. This one, this was my Pride number that I did this year. I put a lot of religious trauma into it.
Oh.
No, okay, so basically, because like this kind of, I guess you could consider tying into my activism. Not necessarily my activism, but I feel like as a queer artist, it's really important to keep our history.
Yes.
Because if we as queer people don't do it, straight people will erase it. They're constantly trying to. So like that, like even before I started doing drag, like that, even as a photographer, like as a queer artist in general, regardless of the medium, that's something that's always been very, very important to me, is like being a keeper of our history and being able to like learn it and teach it to other people. So I did a little religious reclamation moment for this Pride where the number starts off with Hymn by Kesha. And I have this, it's actually my graduation gown, but I passed it off as a choir gown that I like stoned, and I had the little like headpiece, like saint's headpiece moment. And so that was, kind of like a little moment of like celebrating queerness. And then it cuts into Only Love Can Save Us off of Kesha's new album, Gag Order, which if you have not listened, I highly recommend because I am here to preach the gospel of Kesha. But so that song specifically, the like verses are very kind of like her like kind of like in your face kind of talk singy vibe, but then the chorus is like straight up fucking gospel.
Nice.
And so like on the first chorus when she's having her little like gospel moment saying like only love can save us, I take the robe off and I strip down into kind of just like a lingerie moment with like a harness and everything, but then I had like stigmatas on my hand. So it was like, I call the look, it was like patron saint of lust, but it was like that whole moment was very kind of like embracing queerness, embracing your sexuality, shutting off like the oppression of the church. And the way I end the number is I had several other people come out on stage with me holding up 2 signs that had a bunch of like queer elders' names on them that said like Marsha P. Johnson, pray for us. Sylvia Rivera, pray for us. Bayard Rustin, pray for us. I think I had Harvey Milk, and there was like, I think I had like 6 total people on there. And then I had 2 people holding a big pride flag that said, remember those who came before. Which that to me, especially during Pride, that's something that's so important to me is like remembering that history. Because I feel like with Pride the way it is now, it's so corporate, and I feel like we've moved really far away sometimes from like the true heart of the true history of what Pride is. But also even like with this thing with the signs, so I was raised Catholic, hence all the religious trauma. But in Catholicism we would do this thing called the intercession of the saints, where you would literally just like go through like a list of saints and ask them to like pray for you. So that was kind of the whole point of the signs, because it was like me putting our queer elders on the pedestal of saints. So it was like all about shedding religious trauma, embracing your sexuality, and honoring our history and honoring those who came before, because without them we wouldn't be where we are.
Correct.
And being able to do that number was something that was really, really important to me.
We do stand on the shoulders of giants. I'm glad you brought up Marsha P. Johnson.
Of course.
What a badass.
Stormy Delivrod, that was the other one, because everyone always forgets about her.
Oh yeah.
Because Stormy was a drag king.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. We haven't talked about Stormy yet. Well, thank you so much for letting us delve into the world, the dark, spooky world.
And before you go, or well, you're not going anywhere, but before the next break, I have to say this. When you said you dressed up as Katya, first of all, I saw it like in 2 seconds. I went, yep, that's Katya. And then next thing I went, wait a minute. If you had been dressed up as Katya and I had been around, girl, I would have told you to sit on my face. I love Katya.
I fucking adore her.
I fucking adore that fucking weirdo. I love her to death.
She's pretty fabulous.
She's my journey. She's gone through some hell.
Oh yeah,
and high water, and she can laugh about it.
Yeah,
and have a good time about it. And I just, oh my god, I love her so much. So when you say Katya,
well, speaking of laughing, when we come back, we're going to play a little game. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, because I don't want to give them a chance to think about it.
I already know, and it's super hard. And she's going to make me think.
But you will be laughing.
Okay, we will be right back for the next segment.
Houston's hot mess of a podcast.
Okay, we are back. Oh my God. No. Wendy's about to. She's about to throw. It's
not the Ursula laugh.
Y'all. I think, you know what? I suggest that we do like a games thing for the last 30 minutes of the show. But I was thinking more like we play dominoes and or we play some Old Maid and we just talk about things like personal things, about interesting stuff in our lives or what have you. But Wendy said, "Hey, I have this game," and I said,
it's
"Okay."
Silly.
And it sounds. And when she was telling it to me, I'm like, I'm going to lose this game.
I picked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I bet you do really well with this, though.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you do.
I still don't know what it is, so we'll see.
All right. The game is called Questions Only.
Okay.
everything that you say has to be in the form of a question.
Okay.
Now, we have to go like, you say something, then he responds in a question, then I respond in a question, then you respond in a question.
Okay.
We don't just say random stuff and...
No, it has to be like a conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'll start.
Okay.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
How long did it take to get your hair like that?
I don't know.
See, you already
How
know.
many? Wait, fuck. I was going to say the question.
So it has to be
I don't know,
like,
comma.
would
How long did it take to do yours?
But that's a statement. It can be only questions.
Okay.
So let's try again. How you doing?
How high is the sky?
How deep is the ocean? Wait, that's not... Is
How
that a
deep is your love? How
No,
deep
I started with
is
how.
your love?
Yeah, that's a question.
That's a question. I started with how deep is your ocean?
Wouldn't you like to know?
It's back to you.
How tall is your mountain?
Oh my God.
So it's harder than you think. It's really, really hard.
My strategy is sarcasm.
Yeah. You have to just be really cagey. Joel's out.
I'm out.
start.
Let's start again.
I'm like, can I be inappropriate?
We're a podcast.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Be inappropriate.
Okay. How many dicks have you sucked?
I would like to ask you, how many dicks did you suck? Just today.
How high can you count?
Oh. How long has it been since you've done pre-cal?
Why would you make me relive trauma like that?
And why would I have to answer these weird ass questions?
Why wouldn't you?
Do you not want to?
Would you?
Why don't we talk about something else?
Wow, we're only literally 4 minutes into the game, and she wants, let's talk about something. It's so hard. First of all, let's see. I had an edible last night. You had. What? Did you have anything today? No. Did you? I'm asking you a question. Did you have anything today?
Are you a cop?
Am I?
Can I see your badge?
Can you show me your? Wow.
Right.
That did not feel right. Whoa. Where am I going with this? That is the question.
What is going on with the show right now?
Why are we all laughing?
Because I'm a moron?
All right. Joel's out.
No. That was because I'm
The inflection went up. The inflection went up. Moron?
Inflection?
Yes. I did put that in the form of a question.
Did you make the rules?
Did you?
Why are y'all ganging up on me?
Why not?
You're out.
I said why not?
She said.
Oh, you said why not?
I said why not?
You said we're not.
No, I said why not?
All right, fine. I digress.
We definitely are ganging up on you.
Joel?
Wendy?
What's my last name?
It's not Williams, right?
What's Preston's last name?
Is it Stormed?
I think it's stomped. Is it stomped?
Preston, stop.
Is it stomped?
Did you read the email I sent you?
Okay.
Y'all got an email?
Wait, we have an email address?
Where have you been, Joe? You set it up?
And you expected me to remember? Boom!
Why did I pick this game?
I don't know. Why did you, Wendy?
Because you thought you'd outsmart us? What is what?
Why isn't this going the way I thought it would?
How did you think it was gonna go?
Did you think that because we were men, that we were dumb?
Where did that come from?
Is it because I put the pretty in pretty stupid?
Well,
I'm out. I'm out. Let me put that on the camera. I'm out.
and I quit. All right, lightning round.
Okay. Are you ready?
All right. How many gays does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many bottoms does it take to screw in a light bulb?
What's a bottom?
Can you tell me when you find one?
What am I looking for?
I'm sorry, is there a shortage of bottoms?
Not in Houston?
Am I confused? I'm very confused. Wait, I'm out.
Listen. If you need a lot of bottoms, just go to San Francisco.
A bottom took me out.
Is it me? Am I in the bottom?
And on that note,
Oh my God.
that was pretty good.
That was fun.
Taken out by a bottom.
That was take it out by a bottom.
That's going to be the title of the podcast.
Taken out by a bottom. That's just my.
Preston Steamed.
Honestly, that's just as a bottom. That is just my MO, is to normalize top shaming and to shame them into silence, because some of these tops are just really loud.
Oh my God. I've got this. You guys have got to hear this. I've got this.
Yo, this is a special message for all of my bottom subscribers, my verse bottoms, and even my versatiles who like the bottom maybe more than they top. I want to let you know that I love, appreciate, and celebrate your bottom ass, because if it wasn't for you, us tops would not have the type of sexual experience that we get a chance to have. It is because of you and your willingness and your ability to adapt to our bodies that gives us pleasure. Not only that, but I see what my nigga has to go through every single time it's time for us to do what we do. It's a process. You all have to go to the bathroom. You all have to clean out. You all have to watch what you eat. You all have to go through so many steps.
So many times.
So that we can come in there and break that back. Now, I already posted a couple of videos, so y'all already know I know what to do. But I want to move beyond that. I just want to celebrate right now and just say thank you. Thank you for going to the gym and keeping that ass looking so amazing and wonderful. Thank you for having your booty hole smell like roses and vanilla and my dude, he likes to use the cocoa butter, but the gel.
The cocoa butter, guys. He said the cocoa butter.
See, I personally like to use a nice cucumber and eucalyptus body wash. It is. It's very hydrating.
On this page, you are celebrated. You are lifted up. You are treated as royalty, because so many times tops get this, it's all about the tops. It ain't about the motherfucking tops. Yeah, some of us know how to put it down. Some of us know what we're doing, but we would be nothing without you dope ass bottoms who don't mind bending over, opening up them legs, and and making sure that we have the time of our motherfucking lives. Thank you.
And scene.
And scene. And there we go.
Okay, but that's so real, though. That's so... bottoms are the backbone of this economy.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, bottoms. Thank you. You have given me years and years of pleasure. That is for you. By the way, I'm versatile. So, yes, I understand the bottom stuff as well.
See, okay, this is why I love verse guys, though, because verse guys are, like, better tops. Because they understand everything you have to do and what feels good and what doesn't.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, actually.
Please.
Okay, because with all of the bottom shaming that goes on,
So much.
there's so much. But how many of you tops actually know what you doing?
Not okay. Like, let me tell you, I cannot stand a man whose like entire personality is that he has a big dick, and then he's fucking trash in bed with it. Like, pick a struggle, sis. Why am I doing all the work here if you think you're so good? Like, baby, you don't even know what foreplay is.
So I always had this running joke about because everybody's like, size doesn't matter, it's the motion of the ocean. Bullshit. Size doesn't matter. Size matters. Okay, it's not everything, but it matters. Okay,
It does.
If you have enough to hit the dangle dandy in the back of my throat, we can make it happen. Okay, but listen, if you have a big dick and you suck in bed, that's all right. Lay down. I'll take care of it.
Hello.
Okay. I am of a different mind okay, first of all, as a verse person, I'm doing okay. I'm not... Let me put this out here. I'm doing okay. Okay, I'm not these brothers who are hanging down to the knees. You are not going to get... I'm not going to hit a baseball with it. Okay, I'm not going to pole vault or do any kind of javelin, any kind of like stuff like that. But I do all right, and I don't get many complaints. However, I will say this: when I am a bottom, I need to know it's there. I just need to know it's there.
See,
I need to feel that
that's
it's
valid.
there.
That's valid. My thing is like, okay, I will say this on record. I am a size queen. It's not always a requirement, but it is a preferred. But the requirement is that it's at least pretty. Because, baby, I've seen a lot of weird dicks in my time. And, like, there's nothing worse than when you get the pictures rolling and you're like, face, body, like, ooh, okay. And they send the dick pic and it's like, never mind. I'm sorry. Please, no, I'm so sorry.
I try not
she's
to.
got a blue waffle.
You know, in the many years of being out there in the sexual realm, and I mean many years. Some of it happened last week, of course. But
Dusty.
I will agree that I try not to dick shame as much as possible. I realize that we all have what we have. And you have to live with what you got.
Yep.
I mean, we can't have it lifted or added on to. I mean,
actually, you can. No, you can.
But it's
expensive.
But the results are not.
Okay. There's this one dude I follow on Twitter who, like, at first I was like, okay, looks the type of way. Once it fully healed, you can't even tell. And I was like, damn. And the crazy thing is his dick was already really big. And now I'm just like, I'm a little scared to take that now. I'm not gonna lie.
They've gotten better. But, like, listen, for real, like, dick shaming's not cool. It's not cool. You're born with what you're born with. But if you know you don't have a big one, learn how to compensate.
We need skills, baby. That's what she's saying.
Learn
we
how
need
to compensate.
skills.
Use
Foreplay
your
should be your
lips.
best friend.
Literally.
Should be your
mouth.
best. And I said that to the
Use your
men who are
fingers.
too big too. So some of y'all are too big.
Okay, I had one of those ones.
Some of y'all are too big.
Holy cow. He came up to me and hugged me in the parking lot, was like, I know you feel me. And I was like, yeah, I do. Let's go. And then I got there and it came out like a whole baby. And I was like, I can't. I literally looked at him and I said, I can't do this. And walked out.
And you know, sometimes I have to remind.
I don't think I've ever said that.
Sometimes I have to remind some of these gentlemen
She was
that
like 18 inches.
That's a lot. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's
definitely
like a
definitely more than I've.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think
said,
my current record is 9.
Oh, 9's easy.
I can do 10.
Yeah.
I can do 10.
10's good.
10's good.
9.5 is flawless.
Oh my God.
his magic number?
10 is so good.
10 to win.
So good.
10 to win. A 10, a fucking 10.
Okay, let me reiterate this. 10 that does not look like a pencil.
Okay,
I need 10 with some girth. Because I feel like girth to me is more important.
No, it really is. It is.
It absolutely.
I feel like I that's kind of how I'm like if it's super long, I don't mind it when it's it's a little thinner. But like if you short and you stout,
like a Coke can.
Yeah, I need some stout. 'Cause the last one was he wasn't super long, but he was girl. He was
I had this.
Every hole was.
I had this dude. I lovingly call him baseball bat for a reason. It was shaped like one too. Like it was thicker at the top and then tapered down at the bottom.
I love that.
Oh, baby! When I tell you, I was at this man's house like 3 times a week to the point where like he was catching feelings for me, and I'm just like, bro, we gotta. Okay, listen. There was like we've been talking for a while, and like we've been fucking around for a while, and I went to San Francisco, so we hadn't like seen each other in like a week. So then I ended up at his place like 2 days after I got back. I was over at that man's house for like 6 hours straight, and he made me come 5 times. I'm not like that much of a popper's queen, but it helps get the job done. And like he was like, he didn't like them because he didn't like the way they smell, so he's like, you can do them but I won't kiss you. I was like, I want to kiss you. So like the first time we hooked up, I took it in like one go with no poppers, and I was like, oh, look at me. Okay, proceed. I also like deep throated him, and I was like, I hit a lot of firsts with that boy, so that's why like I used to be like, I'm not a size queen. Now I'm like, no, I'm a size queen.
Yeah,
I'm a size queen.
You know what, Wendy? The last half of the show, I think I like this. Just talking a little bit of tea.
Yeah,
talk about a little bit tea. And my goodness, I'm verse. So unfortunately, the bad part about being verse is that you're not a professional at either a top or a bottom. And let me tell you something. I admire a professional bottom. My God, I admire a professional bottom. And when I say a professional bottom, I mean someone who will literally take a look at you, take a look at your dick, and go, I know exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to do that. And let me tell you something. The most fun I had, professional bottom, for 3.5 years, every Tuesday night at 9:00. Because he was still on the down low. He had a family back in Mexico, and he was working here, so he was making all the money here so he could send it back to Mexico, but he liked to have a little something on the side.
He was a Latin lover.
He liked to have a little, and the first time I had him over, I used to work with him, because, I work in the service industry, so a lot of the boys in the kitchen, keep an eye out, because a lot of them are on the down low. And I had one who came over. Now, I thought he was going to be the top. And then he's like, no, I've never done this, so we're going to try it. And I'm like, okay. He did it many times. You cannot.
I've never done this before.
He's a bottom
red
shark.
Carpet rolls out.
You got sharked.
Girl, an inexperienced gay who is a bottom does not get on top of you the first time. He got on top of me the first time, and I'm like, what is happening? I thought you didn't know what to do. He goes, well, I've watched a couple of videos. Bitch, you lied.
A couple.
Bitch, you lied. My eyes rolled in the back of my head. Yes, he was in. He had to be in. My eyes rolled in the back of my head. I'm like, what the hell? You told me that this is your first time being with a man, and all this bitch was lying. His motherfucking he went and cleaned up before he was clean every time. He came over one time.
Yeah, that ain't his first time.
It's not his first time. But and sitting up here trying to convince me it was we did it here. How you gonna tell me that I'm a virgin? I just let him have it because I felt like he needed that. He needed to feel some kind of way. So I let him have it, but he let me have it. So it was good. And that's what I knew. I'm like, I think I'm gonna be a top for a while because this is good. when you have that one that you were getting it from so good, but ain't Never gonna have a relationship. It's not like we're gonna go on dates.
That was me with baseball bat.
It was vacation day, pretty much. It was pretty much vacation.
We love a good vacation. I have a little daddy in Chicago.
Cute.
Anytime I'm there, oof. I have a little weekend throuple in New Orleans too.
Oh, fun.
No, because it's cute because like one of them like legitimately wants me to like be their third, but I'm like, I don't do long distance, baby. But so we have an agreement where like anytime I'm in town, I'll be your boyfriend for the weekend. I'll be the third. We can be cute, do all the dating stuff, but I go home back to my life.
Yeah.
And I'm over 50, and honestly, I thought being over 50 in the gay community, it would slow down. No, it has not. In fact,
it's always the older guys hitting me up too.
The guys my age are the biggest whores on the planet.
Honestly, I love playing with older men sometimes because there's so much more experience. Like, I kind of have a general rule, like, I don't really fuck around with people, like, younger than me. Or even, like, when I was in my early 20s, I was like, if you're the same age as me, I was like, no.
Yeah.
When I was
40
25.
and I look at people my age and I'm like, do you have a driver's license?
No, literally, anytime like 22-year-olds hit me up, I'm just like, what are you gonna do?
But I loved older men when I was in my 20s. When I was I'm saying that like in the form of a question. In my 20s? No.
Did you?
No, I loved older men. I think the oldest man I dated in my 20s, I know this is gonna freak everybody out. He was 71, and he was fantastic in bed, and I didn't even know how he got me in bed.
You're like, I don't know how we got here, but I'm not mad.
I don't know how we got here, and I'm like,
I'm glad that we did.
And I'm so glad that we did because and by the way, 71-year-old man ripped like Jesus. Ripped like Jesus.
He's so ripped.
Ripped like Jesus. I mean, like he still, by the way, he still had the old man butt. I think that never goes away.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Just comes with the age.
And I look in the mirror now and I'm like, please don't let me get old man back. I'm not ready for old man
With
back.
some squats, some wall sits.
I walk a lot. My butt is still looking good. I still have a nice little apple butt. It's still, but it is starting to
droop
just a little. But I'm working hard.
We're working on it.
I'm working hard.
Get some yoga in.
I'm working hard to keep it up, and it's a lot of hard work. I might have to do like these sisters out here do, just go to Mexico and.
I mean,
I don't know, man. Like, I always dated older. Like, aside from maybe 2 of my relationships, everyone has been at least 10 years older until now. Now I'm kind of cougaring a little bit.
I don't know
but I can't be called a cougar yet because I'm not like 50. I think you have to be 50, 55.
I don't know. I'm uncomfortable.
I'm a house cat.
I'm uncomfortable when younger men approach me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been dating older men for so long.
Yeah.
But I'm uncomfortable when younger men are like, "Hey, daddy, how you doing?" First of all, I'm not your daddy.
Well, my current
I did not raise you.
My current boyfriend, I did not know was younger than me until after we were dating for a while. Because he's like a little silver fox. Okay, so he's got a little salt and pepper going on, and like the whole. You've seen it. Hit on him every time.
What is
he looks
30?
forward to it. He's 37 now. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and the younger ones are the last one I had. Not the last one I had. Remember the last one I had?
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Oh, you got to listen to that podcast.
We're slowly, thanks to therapy, we're slowly. We have gotten over that situation.
I'm still in therapy for that sexual escapade that he had.
It was my first time with race play, and I did not even know I was involved in race play. Did not know I was involved until I was deep inside of him.
I can't deal with it.
Oh no!
So bad.
Oh no!
It's like the worst thing you could possibly imagine, and it actually happened. Like it's for real. Like
at the time when I told the story, I was a little bit traumatized, but now I just laugh because it was hilarious.
I was traumatized. I'm still traumatized.
It was hilarious because for a week I kept going.
What?
I finally put myself back out here. And the first person I put myself back out here with says, can I call you a nigger while you're inside me? And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm inside of you, damn it.
You're just like, how did we end up here?
All because he asked a simple question of, can I get a little nastier? I'm thinking.
Right. You're like, smack me and call me a slut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Far less.
Not bring up 400 years of trauma. in the middle while I'm inside of you?
Like, well, that's not a mood killer. I don't know what is.
I'm like, okay, this is why my sister said, this is why you don't date white men. And I'm like, wait a minute now, I have dated I live in Houston, Texas, one of the most diverse cities in the country. There are men from all over the place. And I'm having myself a good time with men from all over the place. So I don't want them
Right. You're like, why? No.
I mean, I like white guys every now and then. I don't want to stop dating white guys because one white guy did something stupid. Which, if we had the conversation beforehand, this is why I'm like, oh, now I understand consent really is.
Really is beforehand.
It's amazing. You hear about it, then you get into the situation, you're like, oh, this is what they mean when they say consent.
So that's actually, you know what? I want to talk about consent on our next show. Because it's something that, like, the younger generations are being taught in schools, like, regularly. In my generation, that was not a thing.
It's okay. That's something I run into, interestingly, as, let's shall we say, a pretty little faggot. With older men at the gay bars a lot of times, especially anytime I go to fucking Galveston, the men on the island get really handsy. And even like with some like the older guys at Ripcord sometimes, and I'm just like, y'all really don't like consent here.
No, because when I was a younger guy walking through like Mary's or something, hands everywhere.
Oh my god.
Just doing this.
I get really frustrated sometimes, especially because like the way I started combating it now, because like my drag obviously is very sexual. Like Preston's basically a fucking stripper, so like I'll like in a number and like, you know, in a thong and like my ass is fully out, and then some random dude will just like walk up behind me and just grab my fucking ass. So now I've started being like, are you gonna tip for that? Get your wallet out. I'm like, oh, you want to touch? That'll be $20.
Oh, my favorite thing is when gay men think that because they're gay, it's cool to touch my tits.
Oh my god.
Like, they just come up and they're like, hey girl, and I'm like, what's up?
Right? Yeah.
Because that's what we did back. We did that in the early 90s with our fag hags, a term that I've always hated. I even hated it back then. But with our fag hags, we'd be out with our fag hags and we'd hey, your girls. Look at your girls, blah, 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 blah.
But I feel like even then that is different because like that is your friend. Yes. You know that you have that dynamic. You already have that implied consent. To go up to a complete fucking stranger and do that. Like, I don't know, I run into this problem sometimes because like I do porn and stuff on my Twitter, and like more like local people have like been seeing it, and it's like people want to act like just because like they've seen my dick on the internet that I'm gonna fuck them. Like some random gay was like convinced they knew me, and like I run into this a lot where like people come up and talk to me like they know me because they see me around performing, they see me online, and I just play it off. Like I'm really great with like, oh my god, so good to see you, babe, and love, like, and they'll walk and be like, I don't know who the fuck that was. Like some dude just like came up to me and was like, oh my god, it's so good to see you again. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And I was like, I don't know who the hell that was. And then this motherfucker, I don't know if he was drunk or what, like on his like way out, he came by to like, he was like saying bye, so I like went in for a hug, and then he just like grabbed my dick and was like, oh, you're so horny. And I'm like, I'm completely soft right now. And I was like, I was so pissed because like I wasn't in drag. I was literally sitting at the bar with my friend talking to my drag daughter because she works at South Beach, and it just like completely threw me off. And I was like, I don't even know who the fuck this F-slur is, and like they want to touch me. I'm just like, why do y'all think y'all are entitled to my body? Like,
there's something about having an amount of infamy and people thinking that they have ownership over you. They think they own you. It's the weirdest phenomenon. When I got to the national stage, it was like the most bizarre thing. Like they would push my partner out of the way to get to me. And it's not like they meant to. In any other situation, they would have decorum and class and manners. But something switches off. Yeah. When they see somebody they've seen on television that like it's not real, and they're on TV too all of a sudden, and they can just do outlandish shit. So like it's like they're trying to get a taste of what you have on screen. And it's like the craziest thing in the world to me, because like that was the biggest reason I stepped out of the spotlight, was because I knew the first time paparazzi jumped out at one of my kids' soccer games, I was going to jail.
Fair.
That's it. Because my life, I'm actually, if you can believe it, a very private person. I have a very public persona.
No, I feel that. I
am a very private person.
No, that's why I like never really use my real name, because whenever I introduce myself to people, I always introduce myself as Preston. Just because like even if I'm at the bars, like even when I'm not in drag, like people know me as a drag performer. I'm there as a drag performer. Like whenever I meet new people, they're like, "Can I get your number?" I'm like, "You can have my Instagram."
Yes.
I'm like, I do not like giving people my fucking phone number.
Like, you can have my social media.
Yeah, because my socials are already public, and like I've told, like I have plenty of friends who like I only like I talk to like on Instagram and like Messenger and stuff. But I'm just like, if we have just met and unless we like actually vibing, I'm not giving you my actual personal information like at all.
Nope. And even if you have my number, I still probably won't answer.
So wait a minute. So those were your videos I was watching on Twitter?
Which ones?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but now I'm gonna have to look them up because I've been looking at. There is one person on Twitter who I'm fascinated about, and I hope I can get him on the show. He is a Houston native. He used to be a lawyer, and now he's doing porn.
Wait. I think I know who you're talking about. His name is. I'm going to blank on his name. I know who you're talking about. I literally filmed the scene with him. Why am I blanking on his name?
Oh my God.
He's like this. What's his name?
He's a Houston lawyer. He's
Ryan St. Michael.
Yes.
Ryan St. Michael.
Oh,
He's so nice. Yeah. He is so sweet.
I've worked with a few of our porn stars here in Houston, and we have got some of the nicest folks. You guys, I did a gig at Pornotopia. No shit. And Ron Jeremy grabbed my boobs. Without consent, actually. But like, I think he thought I was a porn star, but I was there to perform as a singer. And I just walked up and he happened to be there, and I went, "Oh my God, you're Ron Jeremy." And he grabbed my tits and was like, "Oh, they're real." And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "I love real boobs." And I was like, "Me too," and walked off. And then like 2 minutes later, I was on stage singing my whatever song I was doing at the time, and it was just bizarre. But there were so many like world famous porn stars at this event, and they were some of the nicest, most down to earth humans I have ever met in my life.
There's so many just super nice.
I love photographing them. I love photographing them because one, I don't make them feel icky. Okay?
Hello.
So I that's a thing. Like it's very important to be professional as a photographer. But two, they're so beautiful. They're so, like, they look airbrushed in person. Like, they have filters on in your face. Like, how do they do that? They're so unbelievably beautiful. But they're also very uninhibited, and they know their angles. They know lighting. They know positions and how to contort their bodies so that they look most attractive. Like, I never even have to edit their photos.
I love that.
And I'm just like, click. Oh, well, here you go. Would you like me to polish that one little mole?
Are you familiar with the Cock Destroyers?
No.
Okay. Well, so they're no longer the Cock Destroyers, but it was like these two like porn stars, Rebecca and I don't remember, Rebecca Moore and Sophie Anderson. They had like a whole thing. They were like internet sensations. Like they're just two like big titties. Like they got a lot of work done, and just like they got famous for this video being like, "Do you know what we are, babe? We're a couple of fucking cock destroyers. Yeah, we're gonna just destroy those cocks and despunk those spores." And they just made a bunch of just like crazy videos like that. But like I follow Sophie Anderson. I've been following her on Twitter for years, and I adore her because she's like this over the top like porn persona, but that's like just actually how she is. Like she's just a very over the top like goofy silly person. But I fell in love with her because like on her like Twitter, she would just post these like just really sweet like little like down to earth videos where she would just talk about her day. And she like, I remember she posted a video one time where she was talking about like having anxiety on the train, and she's like, "Well, I just want to post this in case this could like help anyone else." And like she would just like, she's this crazy internet persona, but was just like the sweetest fucking person ever. And she'd always post these and be like, "Hi to all my guys and girlies." And then after a certain point, she started saying, "My guys and girlies and my non-binary friends." Aww. And I was like, "You are so pure. I adore you."
Oh, we love a wholesome porn star.
I know. You know, we do. And you know, I have met a couple of porn stars back in the day. Cannot remember their names, and I'm sorry, it was a long time ago. And nicest guys on the planet. But I have always had this thing where if you're working, I'm not into that. I know that's hard to explain, but like when I'm with dancers and stuff, I know they're working. So I put some money in the drawers. Call it a day. I'm not trying to like fill them up and
exactly.
Yeah.
I understand that you're working and this is a job, and that's fine. I'm just here to help you because you're doing your job. But as far as wanting to put my hands on them and all this other stuff, no, it just...
I would imagine it's hard to date as a porn star. I found it hard to date as a musician. Like, I still wouldn't date anybody I met at a gig.
I would never have I don't think I would ever have a problem dating a porn star. Because I
guess I'm the porn star people date.
Dating a porn star, I think that it would be hard for porn stars to date.
Or what I'm saying is maybe anybody in sex work. I mean,
it's interesting. I personally, because I mean, obviously, I don't have like a huge platform. Like, it's all just OnlyFans and stuff. So I personally haven't run into like a problem with it. Like, I had one partner who like he didn't want to like be open, but he was like fine with me like doing like it is like as long as it was like a scene, like he was fine with it. But I've definitely encountered just like in like dialogue from like other queers, like in like just conversations overheard, things I've seen on Twitter, where like people do get really, really slut shamey about like OnlyFans and like sex workers, where like there's so much like even just like open relationships, just because they're like unsatisfied and all they want to do is just go out and like slut shame people for like.
Well, but it's because it makes them uncomfortable because it's outside of their comfort zone. Like it's the whole binary thought process, and I have said this for so many years, but you're supposed to stop thinking in binary after like your young childhood. Like things are not just black and white; they are very gray.
Absolutely,
many shades of gray, over 50, and like and every shade in between. And then there's even things we can't see, like ultraviolet.
Right.
So
there are certain members of society that would like for us to go back to a childlike mind, because a childlike mind is easy to control and mold. So you can see it in everything Governor DeSantis is doing in Florida, and what Texas will want to do if DeSantis is successful. So,
yes, well, and I mean, just but even looking at like the trans community, like it's still very binary. And even though
it's an interesting dialogue I've seen with like the trans like medicalists, where there's like a lot of just some, obviously I'm outside of drag, I'm fully cis, so like I'm only speaking as an outside observer, like, but I do notice that like within like the non-binary community and like newer like gender identities, like a lot of people get like really, really divisive over it and like refuse to give people space. So much gatekeeping, and even from people who aren't even trans want to like object their opinion on like what it means to be trans.
My favorite thing is when someone tells someone that they're not trans when they clearly are. I'm like, well, unfortunately, you don't have the anti-trans wand.
Exactly.
Right.
You don't get to go around tapping people going, okay, you're trans. You're not trans.
And then something I just want to touch on, like kind of circle back to like what we're talking about with like transphobia and stuff. Like that's something I've noticed in the community sometimes, within the queer community, especially with like all the like legislation and everything happening, because like obviously like trans people are like a very like hot button topic right now, if you will. That there's like I don't know if y'all have seen like those hashtags going around online where LGBT without the T.
LGBT without the T.
Infuriates me, because like it's the delusion and ignorance of that, especially because I made a whole video about this like during Pride, which is something I always try and talk about, especially during Pride season, is the fact that like we as queer people would not be where we are. We would not have the rights that we have. We would not even fucking have Pride without trans people. And for like any drag artist to be transphobic, like we would not have drag. We would not have drag the way it is today without trans people, without fucking ballroom, without like trans women.
I will never understand how somebody from our own community can gatekeep.
It's insane to me.
Like,
I can, because I come from a community that does the same thing.
I know. I just,
So
I don't understand. It's so crazy to me. Whatever. We're gonna go out on a happy note.
We're gonna go out on a happy note.
One more round of questions.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. One more round of questions. I'll start.
Okay.
So, Preston, tell us your social medias for the audience.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. You can follow me on Instagram at Preston Steamed _VAV. That stands for Vavra. That's my family. You can follow me on TikTok at Preston Steamed. You can follow my photography page on Instagram at Through the Shutter Photography. I think that's pretty much all my socials. I have a link tree in my bio on my Instagram that has like everything linked in one place, including the link to my new merch line.
Oh my God.
I'm very very sad. It didn't. I was gonna be wearing it today, but I'm still waiting for the package to come in. But I have 3 different designs. One of them is by Damien, actually, and then I have one by an artist named Biggie Taters, who's from Knoxville, and then another one that like my friend just like randomly commissioned for me and was like, "Here you go, this is yours now." And I was like,
"Oh, sweet.
Okay, cool." No, she literally showed up to work with like a bag with my face on it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I made this for you. Here's the design. Put on whatever you want."
Oh, that's cute.
It was super sweet.
I'm sorry, Damien who?
Damien is one of the, well, Damien's pretty much like the other alt king in town. We have a lot of like newer alt kings, but in terms of like the established, like prominent ones, it's me and Damien are like the resident alternative kings.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I was going down the road because I just interviewed Max Xanadu. Max.
Oh yeah, not Damien Dane.
No, not Damien Dane.
Yeah,
okay.
Damien.
Yeah, just Damien, no last name.
Okay.
Even though he has a drag family they don't have a last name because Damien has a last name. So like the joke is they're the house of spooky pussy.
Oh my god.
I love the house of spooky pussy.
I think I do. I love the house of spooky pussy. Why not?
What did the ghost see? What did the ghost bee say to the other bee?
Booby.
Oh my god.
Booby.
Okay, it's time to end this shit show.
He's like, get me the fuck out of here.
It's time to end this shit show. We've got haunted vaginas going on here. We've got all kinds of stuff, and we've had a great show. Thank you, Preston, for being on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to make the joke here. Thank you, Wendy Williams and Preston Storm, for being on the show.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Joel Tater Tot.
Sorry, I had to do that.
It's all right, Joel Tater.
It's a running joke between me and Wendy. And by the way, quick note. Now that Twitter is X, don't you find our conversation kind of funny?
Oh my god.
Bye.
The worst rebrand of all time.
That statement is right there. Is a TikTok video right there. Okay, we're out.
Bye.
Bye.